Namaskar. We welcome each and every one of you to this unique endeavor by the Indus Valley World School. Come the month of May, we all look forward to celebrating and rediscovering the genius of none other than Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. This year, we are going through very trying times. Students and teachers the world over are confined to their homes due to this unfortunate pandemic. Yet, what better way could we come together than to celebrate the words of Gurudev through our theme, Nomi Noro Devotare. Tagore celebrated the godliness that lies in man, and we are celebrating that each and every day at the moment. This unique endeavor would have never seen the light of day if we had not had the support of the principals of 13 schools of the city of Kolkata. We thank each and every one of them from the bottom of our heart. It is because of their support that this project of collaboration is going to see the light of day. We also need to thank the celebrities who decided to come on board and give of themselves selflessly to make Nomi Noro Devotare a reality. We thank and are deeply indebted to Srimati Promita Mullik, Dr. Partha Ghose, Sri Sudhiranjan Mukhopadhyay and Sri Sujoy Prasad Chatterjee for lending of their time selflessly and sharing their expertise. Over the next 3 days, we will explore Tagore through art, music, dance, and poetry. Come, join us in celebrating Gurudev's genius through Nomi Noro Devotare.
We are passing through very difficult times when personal meetings, the very foundation of social integration, emotional balance, and learning, are being discouraged. It is therefore very encouraging to see that 14 schools have joined the Indus Valley World School to organize this unique virtual event to celebrate the birth anniversary of Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath was born on 7th May 1861, the 14th child of Maharshi Devendranath Tagore. He was a myriad-minded man, a poet, writer, composer, philosopher, social reformer, and painter. He reshaped and modernized Bengali literature and music, as well as Indian art in the 19th and early 20th centuries. He was the first non-European to win the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1913 for his profoundly sensitive, fresh, and beautiful verse of the Gitanjali. His poetic songs have influenced Bengalis beyond measure. They capture every nuance of human emotions. But his elegant prose and magical poetry remain largely unknown outside Bengal. As a humanist, universalist, and internationalist, he represented the quintessence of Bengal Renaissance. He created a vast canon that comprises paintings, sketches, and doodles, thousands of texts, and more than 2,000 songs. His legacy endures in the institution he founded in Shantiniketan called Vishwabharati. His novels, short stories, songs, dance dramas, and essays address topics that were both political and personal. Gitanjali, Gora, and Ghore Baide are his best known works outside Bengal. Two of his compositions later were chosen as national anthems: India's Jana Gana Mana and Bangladesh's Amar Sonar Bangla. The Sri Lankan national anthem was also inspired by his works. In the introductory episode to his only book on science, Vishwa Parichaya, which he wrote in 1937, Rabindranath describes how science had fascinated him since childhood. As he grew older, the young Rabindranath started reading every book, I say every book on astronomy that he could lay his hands on, his favorite being Sir Robert Ball's work. He persisted even when the mathematics proved difficult for him. Then he discovered Thomas Huxley's essays on biology. Astronomy and biology became and remained throughout his life the scientific subjects that fascinated him and find reflection in his mature writings, especially his poetry. These studies did not afford a rigorous grounding in science, but they helped him acquire a scientific mindset, a temper that served him well through his life without impairing his poetic genius. It led him to develop a distinctively new philosophy in which the tenets of modern science were seamlessly integrated with the ancient wisdom of the Upanishads. The originality of Rabindranath's philosophy attracted the leading European scientists of his time, grappling with the profound philosophical problems unleashed by their scientific discoveries. Among them were Albert Einstein, Arnold Sommerfeld, and Werner Heisenberg. But needless to say, his most sustained interaction was, of course, with the preeminent Indian scientists of his time, Sir Jagadish Chandra Bose, Satyendranath Bose, Meghnad Saha, and Prashant Chandra Mahalanobis, above all. In the early days of Vishwa Bharati, Rabindranath developed a close friendship with the Scottish polymath Patrick Geddes, biologist, sociologist, and town planner. Geddes impressed on him the need for planning in order to regenerate the rural communities in Bengal, including training opportunities to integrate sustainable agriculture with village industries. This became the founding principle of rural reconstruction in Shantiniketan. But a single encounter between Rabindranath and the physicist Meghnad Saha held more significance for the development of modern India. The two met in Munich in 1921 on Sommerfeld's introduction, but only in 1938 did Meghnad go to Shantiniketan to solicit Tagore's support for a planning commission for India to ensure planned industrial growth on scientific lines. This agenda was favored by Subhash Chandra Bose, then president of the Indian National Congress, in sharp contrast to Mahatma Gandhi's call to make the spinning wheel and village industries the foundation of India's economy. Rabindranath was openly critical of this aspect of Gandhi's vision, especially after visiting the Soviet Union in 1930 and admiring its industrial progress. The plan was to use Rabindranath's influence with Gandhi to win his continuing support for Subhash. The poet actually did write to both Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru. The political ploy, of course, failed, but it is now history. How later, as Prime Minister of independent India, Nehru championed the cause of planning and industrial growth. India's second five-year plan was largely the work of Prashant Chandra Mahalanobis. Tagore wrote two powerful symbolic plays which reflect his rejection of science as a machine and affirming his faith in the human spirit. Muktadhara, the free stream, was written in 1922 and Raktokorobi, Red Oleanders, in 1923. They are his finest protests against totalitarianism and the use of machines to subjugate human beings. In Personality, Tagore writes, "The world is not atoms and molecules or radioactivity or other forces. The diamond is not carbon and light is not vibrations of ether. You can never come to the reality of creation by contemplating it from the point of view of destruction." It is from this perspective that Tagore attempted to teach science in his school in Shantiniketan. He wrote, "The boys of my school have acquired instinctive knowledge of the physiognomy of the tree. By the least touch, they know where they can find a foothold upon an apparently inhospitable trunk. They know how far they can take liberty with the branches. They make the best possible use of the tree in the matter of gathering fruits, taking rest, and hiding from undesirable pursuers. I consider it as a part of education for my boys to let them fully realize that they are in a scheme of existence where trees are a substantial fact, not merely as generating chlorophyll and taking carbon from the air, but as living trees." He composed songs, wrote plays, and organized seasonal festivals in Shantiniketan and Sriniketan so that the students could be acquainted with nature by direct experience and emotional involvement rather than from the cold resources of printed books alone. Some of these festivals have become public attractions like the Spring Festival, Vasantotsav, and the Winter Festival, Posh Mela. Even more significant, however, are the festivals of the rainy season, including the tree plantation ceremony, Brikharopan, and plowing the fields, Holocarsha, which were arguably the first ever attempts at a holistic environmental education. In The Realization of Beauty, in his book Sadhana, which he wrote in 1913, Rabindranath writes, now I quote, "When I went to sleep, I closed my eyes with this last thought in my mind, that even when I remain unconscious in slumber, the dance of life will still go on in the hushed arena of my sleeping body, keeping step with the stars. The heart will throb, the blood will leap in the veins, and the millions of living atoms of my body will vibrate in tune with the note of the harp string that thrills at the touch of the master." The imagery recurs in even more striking form in a classic song of 1927 on Shiva as the cosmic dancer Nataraj, Nritteru Tale Tale. "Rebellious atoms turn beautiful, enthralled by your dance. The sun and the moon ring out like bells in your luminous anklets. The inert world awakens into consciousness at the living touch of your dance. Through ages and time, in music and rhyme, your eternal bliss breaks into waves of joy and sorrow." One can cite but only a few outstanding examples where his poetic vision of the universe is not only compatible with scientific insight but directly inspired by it and incorporates it. Some of these poems seem to mesh with the physical sciences like astronomy and cosmology in particular, others with the life sciences celebrating the order and energy in the living world of nature. One long excerpt will serve for them all. Shesh Shaptak, number 28, is addressed to the evening star, that is also the morning star. but it becomes an emblem of both the universal creative force and its manifestation in the world of homely nature and humanity. I quote, "Wise men call you the planet Venus. They say you are immense, swift and venerable in your vast orbit. You are the Earth's fellow traveler as you circle the sun in prayer. The jeweled garland of daylight, woven of sunbeams, dangles from your neck. In the arena of great time, where you carry out your cosmic commerce, you are distant and aloof, hidden in the manless mystery of thousands and millions of years. But when today, at the border of approaching night, you inspire the poet's heart with the silent message of peace, at that moment, unknown to us, the cycle of the changing seasons is generating the variety of creation in your water, land, and air. We know you are the planet of scholars and astronomical truth proved by mathematics. But this is also true, even more true, that you are our morning star and evening star. There you are, small and beautiful, to be compared to late autumn's dewdrop and early autumn's shiuli flower. This poem serves as well as any to illustrate also how different Rabindranath was from a scientist. The insights of science are a noteworthy part of his greater mental universe. As he puts it in Personality, quote, "The prosody of the stars can be explained in the classroom by diagrams. But the poetry of the stars is in the silent meeting of soul with soul." As Rabindranath emphasized in his Hibbert Lectures at Oxford in 1930, later published as The Religion of Man, this world is what humans make of it through their senses and their mind. Man is at the center of the universe. Man is the meeting point of the finite and the infinite.